Hi guys, welcome to WNF podcast, otherwise known as We're Not Friends podcast. This is episode 11.
Yeah.
For those that have been listening for the whole ride, we greatly appreciate your viewership. There's like 20 of you.
Like 33, I think, total.
No.
Of maybe. 33 subscribers, I think, and then like 20
like
consistent.
4 on the audience across all platforms.
Yeah.
So maybe that's about 50 viewers and listeners. So we thank you guys greatly. We were going to release last week's episode 10 and actually like share it on our social media, our personal social media. And then honestly, like we were so down after last week's episode. So again, apologies. It got pretty deep and dark.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was just what was heavy on our hearts. So, I don't know. Maybe this will be that episode that we share out. We'll see. Who knows?
Probably not. But it's funny, guys, just for more context on that. We created this, out of just us trying to experiment and having fun with the idea of expressing our opinions on this thing. However, as you all know, whenever you're expressing your opinions, and especially just kind of candidly like we do, you end up saying things that you end up thinking in retrospect, is that going to hurt somebody's feelings? Is this going to make you kind of look different in certain people's eyes? And so we still haven't really told our family or like showed this to anybody that's like really, really close to us besides like really close friends because of that. And that's what Lauren's talking about whenever she says, are we going to share this out with our personal social media? I don't know when we will. I still don't think we probably will for a little while. And yeah.
I don't care. I really actually don't give a shit about other people and their feelings about what I say. However, I don't want anybody to feel particularly like hurt. But then I would say to that, perhaps some self-reflection is needed if I'm talking about a topic that you're hurt on.
Right.
I mean, sans the Oklahoma thing, we shit on Oklahoma pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's not, it honestly, I think it's one of those things to where you say shit about the things that you know best, and it's because of the fact that we grew up there, we still have a lot of family there, we still have friends there, we talk about those friends, and then we live our life in contrast to the way we lived our lives in Oklahoma, and we surround ourselves with people who are also a contrast to a lot of the people that we surrounded ourselves around in Oklahoma.
We'll probably not have a lot of friends in Oklahoma once they listen to our first episode. But no, really, it's the way Jean and I talk on here. If you know us personally, this is how we talk. So I was really harsh on Oklahoma in all of my discussions. I can't help it. It's my opinion. It's my experience. I'm open to listen to other people's experiences, of course, but that is how we experienced it. And so YOLO. Buckle up, like, oh no, I may sound angry.
Yeah.
So can we just get into something light before we get into RBG and talk about our walk this morning?
Okay.
So, Sean and I normally walk Fabrizio Bear every morning.
It's our dog.
Yes.
An 8-pound Shih Tzu.
A Shih Tzu for show. No, he's a Shih Poo. But anyway.
What is that?
Shih Tzu toy poodle.
It's a stupid name. Let's say that. Shih Poo is.
Yeah, it's stupid. And we're not one of those people that like went out and tried to find a designer dog.
Fuck no.
Somebody was literally giving out puppies for the cost of their shots at the farmer's market. Am I proud of it? No, I didn't really know a lot about adoption at the time, but I can say those people were not breeders. It was literally a one-off instance. Anyway, so we have this adorable little dog. We walk him every morning. Unfortunately, my work schedule, I don't get to go during the week with the boys anymore because I'm working, since 6 a.m. So Sean has that pleasure. And so when I get to walk on the weekends, I really enjoy my time with them. However, we walk down this one street that is outside of our neighborhood. It's supposed to be just 30 miles per hour. But people just like rip through here and go like 50 miles an hour all the time. It's very frustrating when we're walking him on this small side street. Also, it is a crossing for quails between the neighborhood. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen quails. That was a really big deal when we moved here to Arizona because we have so many in our backyard all the time. They are so cute. They make the funniest noises. They're so cute and so easy, like very jittery and skittish. But, oh my God, they're the stupidest birds ever.
They're so dumb. Yeah.
So dumb. And so constantly we have this whole thing. Like, I'm always worried about the fucking quail. Always down the street. One time I got Sean to go save some babies because they couldn't jump up on the curb. And I was like, I can't handle it. They're going to be squashed, Sean. Like, it's a whole thing every damn walk. So, of course, this morning, it was like 20 minutes of me commenting on the quail because these dummies kept running out in the street and then running back and then separating. And they're just so stupid.
Yeah.
I feel like an old lady, though. I know. Sean's like, okay, are we still talking about the quail? And I'm like, I just can't help it. They're so dumb.
I think where this started really getting touchy about that was one time we were driving down that road, and Lauren was driving the speed limit, and this lady goes over and tries to go around Lauren.
Well,
was like hauled ass around Lauren, and Lauren was slowing down because she sees a bunch of quail, and then she just fucking loses it. Lauren fucking goes off in the car, and she just is like screaming and like just going nuts. And then
I sped up, and I wouldn't let the lady cut me off.
Cut her off. But at the same time, she's watching out so she doesn't hit the quail, and it was funny. But
it was
after that, it was like Lauren's been particularly conscious of the whole thing with cars driving by, and so now it's
Where was that lady off to anyway? Like,
yeah,
goddamn, it was like a Sunday morning. We were going to the or Saturday morning. We were going to the farmer's market.
Right.
We're slowing down for the quail, and this bitch comes out of the neighborhood, our neighborhood, and hauls ass.
Yeah.
It's like, do you need to go 50? It's like a block till you get to the main road. You can just, like, calm down.
Yeah, yeah. And I apologize, guys, if this episode is particularly low energy or more low energy than usual. It's we typically film this typically like in the evenings, and we'll typically have a drink or something like that. Right now we're filming this in the morning and recording this in the morning, and the only drink that I've got is a cold espresso. So different for sure.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. I'm ready to go. No, I actually had 2 espresso shots, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Let's do this thing. So I have unfortunately had to do a couple of toasts this weekend in honor of RBG. We lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg to pancreatic cancer on Friday at the age of 87. Very sad, very heartbreaking. Honestly, like, what more do you have for us, 2020? An icon, a legend. She will be greatly missed.
Yeah, she was 87 years old. She definitely lived a full life, which is great. And I'm definitely, conscious of the things that she was a part of whenever she was younger. She was very much a part of the civil rights movement. She was a huge feminist icon, and she's a big proponent of women's choice. That's something that now a lot of people are saying is at risk. That's going to make the already incredibly important election that's coming up become even more important. It has now become a conservative slogan to say, fill the seat, is now what they're using. So they're already like 2 days after she's died, fill the seat is now becoming a really big political slogan for conservatives.
Wow, because 2016, y'all, we can go back and look at videos of Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, talking about, Lindsey Graham had quoted saying, you can quote me on this, like, don't, if this happens again, we're setting a precedence that we cannot fill a seat in the Supreme Court in an election year. we're setting that precedence. And then Mitch McConnell said, I believe it was Mitch McConnell that said it was the people's choice. Like, it was a whole conservative thing when Obama had that option to not do that. That was like a conservative movement. So let's not forget, Google it, share the video out, guys. What happened? You guys are going back on your word.
Yeah, the hypocrisy is just in plain sight. And now it's become a thing to where, commentators on TV will say things like, what do we expect? These people are politicians. These guys have gone against everything that they believe in constantly. Majority of these guys were saying that, Trump is a bigot and that Trump should never be able to reach the presidential office. And now they cater to everything that he says. And it's, it just goes to show the lack of integrity that we have, and we're okay with it. We talk about it. I know it's always a joke that we say things like, politicians are shitty people and all that, and that they will flip-flop, on a dime. But it's now gotten to a thing to where that's just the status quo. We don't give a shit, really, that, it is what it is. And that sucks, man. That's the kind of thinking that makes me think we really do need to fucking make some really big changes. We really need to fucking go after some of the old school guys who've been in office for a long time and just completely pull them out. And honestly, on both sides, and not just the conservative side, but also on the Democratic side. There's a real movement on the Democratic side to push down progressive thought and to try to not let anybody be elevated who's not a part of the kind of mainstream moderate Democrat view. And I think hopefully more young people will show up to the polls, because the reality is we're still a low minority when it comes to elections. We don't show up to the polls. We don't elect. The majority is still a very majority is an older demographic that votes. So that sucks, man. We need to start making most of the decisions instead of the older generation who's not going to be around.
Yeah, I mean, somebody commented, and I meant to respond on YouTube about why are we so harsh on conservatives. Don't get it twisted. Hypocrisy is on both sides. I have been very vocal about my distaste in the DNC's choice to ignore Tara Reade and continue to push Biden without doing any type of validation after the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing, where we all did the believe her, believe victims movement, and this happened. I'm disgusted. Nancy Pelosi and her going to get her hair done, disgusted. We would have covered it. We didn't have a podcast that week. So I see hypocrisy on both sides. However, it has become a very hateful rhetoric, I think, amongst the conservative party to talk about the liberal agenda and the liberal movement and the stuff that they're saying. They are riling up people on their side to think that we are in a civil war. Jesse Waters said that Mitch McConnell needs to whip the vote and get RBG's seat filled as soon as possible, because we have like blood-sucking liberals, or was it blood-sucking leftists, to worry about. Like, just all of these disgusting rhetorics and the name calling and the splitting, they're really making it seem like it's a civil war right now. It's crazy. You don't see that on the Democrats at all. So conservatives, I mean, I'm sorry. You have now pushed me. I don't care for Joe Biden. I voted for Bernie. Okay? I have now been pushed to make a decision between one or the other instead of voting third party, like I would have considered in the past, because of all of this crazy rhetoric about a civil war. Now I'm going to vote for Biden, just to feel like at least I didn't throw my vote towards something that maybe not had a chance of winning against this crazy conservative shit.
Yeah, it's this kind of like a pouring gas on the fire type situation, to where they know a lot of the shit that they're spewing on the conservative side is just right-wing bullshit that has been started on a lot of these like underground channels like 4chan and like and actually not just 4chan. Actually, it's usually on somewhat racist forums that usually get started, and then they take from those racist forums, and then they plug them into mainstream Facebook groups that are conservative leaning, and then those people go out and continue to share it widespread, and then it becomes common thing. And then from that, I assume the producers of these Fox News shows or Blaze TV online shows will go and start repeating it as if it's fact or as if it's backed out of some kind of factual basis, and then they'll actually begin creating structure behind it, and it's scary. You can't keep backing these fucking nutty thoughts like this civil war thought that they're
and that you're
pushing.
A patriot, and that you're a patriot, and now is the time because this America, we're scared. The America that we live in is so scary. Yeah, bitch, it is scary because all the crazy shit that you're saying, not anything that we're doing. Okay.
There's a difference between riling up your side to be able to get people to vote than riling up your side to make them dangerous. And that's where it's getting to.
Yeah, and this rhetoric on mail-in voting, like this didn't already exist before this fucking election, it is mind-boggling. Like Trump's even admitted he's done mail-in voting.
Right. And the way he says it is that he says that he does absentee ballot, and that it's a huge difference. When the reality is, I believe the process is pretty fucking close. I don't think it's identical, but I think the process is pretty fucking close between absentee versus mail-in. And I was looking up some of this stuff to get an understanding of mail-in, and I didn't realize that the entire state of Washington is mail-in voting, which is just fucking like, guys, if that doesn't prove it alone, like an entire fucking state can function it and it works out just fine. Like we've got to fucking stop trying to make this a thing, that mail-in voting is a scary thing. I'm not proud to say it, but I used to fucking be deep into the Republican Party, working for public relations firms that worked very closely on a state level and national level. And this is like back in the McCain-Palin versus Obama-Biden stuff back in 2008. I remember sitting in a strategy session. We were looking at some of the things that were being said on the Democratic side, and I noticed that there was a lot of push for more voting on the Democratic side, and that was a big campaign slogan. And on the Republican side, whenever I brought up, hey guys, shouldn't we do campaigns to try to get more voting, they turned it down very quickly. And the reason for that was they said that there is a staple voter that is consistent right now for the Republican side, and that is an older voter, and they are reliable. And they don't have a lot of belief that a younger generation will prop up the Republican vote. So they don't do any campaigns to push the vote. And I think that this is just like that. It's that they know mail-in voting will increase voting, yet they don't want that. They don't necessarily want to increase voting.
Yeah, I mean, if you had, listen, conservatives have given a lot about the whole voter ID thing, right? That's been a popular topic over the recent years for them to push on. But mail-in voting, if they had such a problem with how effective or accurate it was, and if they thought that there would be so much fraudulent voting, then why are states doing it? Like Washington.
Yeah.
So if you actually had a fucking problem about it, this would be an issue that you guys have brought up multiple times, because God knows IDs, Jesus Christ, they bring that up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So then where was the mail-in voting issue several years ago? It's just such shit. So guess what? Again, opposite effect. Great. I live in a red state. Now I'm like, oh shit, I'm not going to trust you guys to handle my vote because I'm not going to be voting the way you want me to. And I don't feel like that's going to be effective. So I'm going to go in a pandemic and go vote in person.
Yeah. Like Lauren said a moment ago, we're typically people that are completely open with voting for a third party because of the fact that we don't see things black and white. We don't see things red and blue or liberal and conservative. We typically just try to critically think about shit, really study the voter guides, and vote. We'll take our fucking time. And right now, because of the fucking crazy rhetoric, it is driving people that are typically very independent to lean and to choose a side, probably pushing a lot of people to now do a counter vote. And that's what we're doing. We don't want to vote for Biden, but we're doing a counter vote, and we probably will.
I mean, I will.
Yeah.
There's no probably.
Right.
I was so pissed off at the DNC when that was my option. Like I said previously with my feelings on Kamala Harris, I think she and some of her sketchy things that she's done in the past in the state of California. Listen, I'm a woman, but I'm not a black woman, and is surrounded by males, mainly white males, making decisions. So I can't fault her for some of that in their past because I'm sure it's a little easier to sway somebody in that position when they're the minority. However, Biden, yeah, very disappointed. Biden, super disappointed. Like, the hypocrisy there is just not lost on me. But what I do know, Biden and Kamala Harris will do something positive about this pandemic. It will, I feel, if Biden gets in office, that is one thing I feel very confident on, is that they'll handle this pandemic much better than Trump has.
Yeah.
So I'm going to vote, and I'm going to vote for the Democratic Party on this one, because I cannot deal with seeing a president who acts like such a nut and then see half of the nation think that this is okay. This is okay for our president to act this way and to be so hateful, openly hateful, and not inclusive. It's disgusting and it's disturbing. And honestly, I know a lot of, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to call out religious people on this one, but I know some staunchly religious people, really, really hardcore Christians that still support Trump. And it's like, wow, I don't think your God would approve of how this man behaves and the stuff that he says. It's very disturbing.
A lighter topic, a show that just came back for season 2, Pen15 on Hulu, is just such a fucking funny show, guys. And
so goofy.
For anybody that falls in our generation of kind of like this early 30s, even people in late 30s, will see this and they'll realize all of the fucking stuff that they pull from this show is so nostalgic. And I find myself just kind of like fucking laughing at how critically they must have thought about every detail, from the sayings to the references, the posters on the walls, the bed sheets. Like, every fucking detail is nostalgic to people in their 30s and late 30s right now. It is so fucking funny.
If you know what Pen15 is, when you were a kid, I don't know, when I was a kid, like, people used to do that, and it was like, oh, penis. That's so funny. I died of laughter. Like, that's why we even watched the show in the beginning when we were flipping through Hulu last year, and it was like, holy shit, Pen15. Oh my God, this is so funny. What's really creepy is these girls are around my age and they're acting like they're middle schoolers. It is very, very creepy that they can pull it off really successfully.
Yeah, it's funny because they're middle schoolers, and if you recall, in middle school, girls hit their puberty sooner, so they're naturally taller and look a little bit older than the guys do in that age, because guys don't hit their puberty until, like, I think like probably the first years of high school is whenever the majority of people start to really hit that puberty. And so it looks totally natural for a lot of the girls to be standing up next to the guys and be a little bit taller, and the way they've nailed down their mannerisms is so fucking funny.
Yeah, but Maya does not look like... You're talking about the other girl, Anna, that's taller and looks a little older. No, Maya does not look like she's matured over the middle schoolers. She painfully looks the same age. I don't know how she does it.
Right. So there's two main characters.
Yeah. And Maya is like a little short girl and the other one is tall, and it's creepy. They talk about masturbation, they talk about getting your period, like first time you do anything with a boy, that kind of stuff. It is so, sometimes it's a little unsettling.
For sure.
Because there are actual kids. And I think we read an article about how they like handle that with stand-ins and certain things. So it's not ever inappropriate in those parts around actual teenagers. But yeah, it's too silly. You guys have got to watch it. If you want something just stupid and lighthearted, it is really good. Yeah,
it's fucking hilarious. We're 7 weeks out from the election. Let's kind of keep a cool head about things. Let's try to enjoy our lives and not make every election topic become such a crippling and depressing situation. And let's, embrace funnier shows that are out, and just try to enjoy our lives, because it sucks whenever some things happen, like RBG dying. That was another like hit of reality. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening this week. Catch us on social media.
Yeah, follow us at WNF Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Have a great week.
Yeah.
Bye.